Some secrets protect us. Others slowly destroy us. This is the story of a secret I carried alone until the night it nearly broke me completely. Have you ever known something so painful that telling the truth felt more frightening than staying silent? This is my story. My name is Mia. I am 20 years old. I live in a busy city and study at university. I share a small flat with my elder sister, Sophie. When I was only 10, our parents passed away in a car accident. Just like that, everything changed. Since then, Sophie has raised me as her own child. She's not only my sister, she's my mother, my teacher, and my closest friend. She's strong and loving, and I respect her more deeply than words can say. She sacrificed her own dreams to give me a better life. Sophie works as a history lecturer at the university. She's married to Daniel, who also teaches there. He's polite, well-spoken, and well-respected. People admire him because he's calm and serious. Together, Sophie and Daniel look like the perfect couple. Everyone believes their marriage is solid, and for a long time, I believed that too. But slowly, I began to notice things. Sometimes, when we sat together at the dining table, Daniel's eyes would not be on his food. They would be on me. His gaze made me deeply uncomfortable. I lowered my head quickly, pretending I hadn't seen. I told myself, maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe I'm overthinking. But the feeling never went away. One evening, we were having dinner. Sophie smiled warmly and asked about my exams. I started to answer, but when I looked up, I found Daniel watching me, closely. His smile was different, not the way a brother-in-law should ever smile. I felt uneasy. I quickly changed the subject and kept my eyes only on Sophie. That night, lying in bed, I could not sleep. My thoughts kept returning to his eyes. I wanted to believe he was a good man. I wanted to believe that my sister's marriage was safe. But deep inside, a small voice told me the truth. Something was very wrong. Days passed. Daniel continued to behave perfectly in front of Sophie, but whenever we were alone in the same room, his eyes made me nervous. Sometimes he tried to start unnecessary conversations. Sometimes he stood far too close when there was no reason to. I avoided him as much as I possibly could. One afternoon, I was reading in the sitting room. Sophie was at work. Daniel came home early. He sat across from me and asked about my studies. I gave short answers, hoping he would leave. But then his tone changed. He said softly, "Mia, you're very beautiful. Do you know that?" My heart stopped. I froze in my chair. His words felt heavy, wrong, dangerous. I stood up quickly, pretending I had something to do in the kitchen. My hands trembled as I washed the same plate again and again. He walked away as if nothing had happened, but I knew the truth now. That evening, I couldn't eat. Sophie noticed straight away. "Mia, are you all right, love?" she asked gently. I forced a smile and said, "I'm just tired." But inside, my heart was breaking. How could I tell her? She loved Daniel so much. She trusted him completely. He was her whole world. For days, I kept quiet. I thought, maybe he'll stop. Maybe if I stay out of his way, things will be fine. But things only got worse. Daniel grew bolder. His words became sharper, his eyes darker. I was scared, not just uncomfortable anymore, truly frightened. One evening, I was walking back to the flat after lectures. The corridor was quiet and empty. Suddenly, Daniel stepped out from around the corner. Before I could move, he came close and said in a low voice, "Mia, you drive me absolutely mad." His eyes looked different, dark, hungry. I stepped back, but he blocked my way. Then he reached out and touched my arm, slowly sliding his hand up towards my shoulder. My whole body went rigid. "Please stop," I whispered, but he leaned even closer. For a moment, I felt his breath near my ear as he said, "Don't fight it. I know you feel the same." My heart pounded. Pure fear rushed through me. With every ounce of strength I had, I shoved him away and ran down the stairs, tears blurring my vision completely. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the key in the lock when I reached home. I locked myself inside, pressed my back against the door, and cried until my chest ached. That night, I didn't sleep at all. His touch, his words, they played over and over in my mind like a nightmare I couldn't wake from. And I knew then I could not stay silent any longer. Finally, one quiet evening, Sophie and I were sitting out on the balcony together. The sky above London was full of stars. She was smiling softly, talking about her work, completely at ease. I looked at her face, that same face that had looked after me since I was a little girl. Tears filled my eyes. "Sophie," I whispered, "I need to tell you something." She went serious immediately. "What is it, Mia?" My voice shook. "It's about Daniel." Her smile faded. She looked at me carefully, very still. And so I told her everything. His stares, his words, his behavior in the corridor. As I spoke, tears ran steadily down my cheeks. My voice broke more than once. I expected her to get angry, to accuse me of lying, to take his side. But Sophie didn't shout. She didn't flinch. She sat completely still, listening to every single word. When I finally finished, there was silence. Then, softly, she said, "I believe you." Those 3 words. I broke down completely. I cried in her arms, and she held me so tightly, even as I could feel her own heart shattering beside mine. From that night, everything changed. Sophie confronted Daniel. At first, he denied everything, but when she pressed harder, he admitted the truth. Sophie's world fell apart. The man she had trusted most had betrayed her in the cruelest possible way. It was not easy. She cried for many nights. I felt so guilty, as though I had destroyed her marriage with my own hands. But she told me firmly, "Mia, don't you dare blame yourself. The fault is not yours, not even a little. You only showed me the truth. You protected me." With time, Sophie grew stronger. She made the most difficult decision of her life and ended her marriage to Daniel. It was painful, deeply painful, but she chose her dignity and her peace over a relationship built on lies. Today, years later, we are still together, just the 2 of us. Life is not perfect, but it is honest, and that means everything. Sophie often says to me, "Trust is the root of every relationship, Mia. Without it, love simply cannot survive." And I have learned something I will never forget. Silence only gives power to the wrong people. Speaking the truth may hurt for a while. It may shake everything you thought was stable. It may cost more than you ever imagined, but it saves us in the end. Always trust your inner voice. Never ignore what feels wrong, even when it comes from someone the world calls good. Truth may break hearts, but lies destroy lives. If this story touched you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Someone out there needs to hear these words today.